Just doing a video today on a day in the life of the buying and merchandising department. Just be running you through some of the daily tasks that are done every day by the buying and merchandising team, kind of like a broken down version from my last video where I did a full overview. I just thought I would show you like the little bits and pieces that make the fuller picture. This is an actual photo from my actual job, so this is real, guys. So let's get into it. This is a deep quote by Ursula de Castro, so just check it out. Okay, so first thing we do every single day is check your sales. We read our sales every single day, first thing. If it was a Monday, we would be looking at our sales for the full week. If it was any other day, we would just be reading our daily sales. So, let's say for example today was Monday. Monday is a huge day in buying a merchandising team because Monday is trade day and we look at nothing else but sales. We would spend all day in meetings just discussing the sales and what we're going to do, because what we're doing is we're analysing stock levels, sales, best sellers, worst sellers, and what we're going to do about it, actions. So, for example, if something's doing really poorly and we've got so much stock of it, we need to decide what we're going to do, and usually we're going into promotion or sales with it and we're just figuring all of that out. So we would just like put in promotion and things like that. If you ever saw like signs that are saying 20% off denim or 2-for-1 off tops and all of those promotions that randomly pop up, that would have happened from a trade meeting by the buying and merchandising department. Because another thing we need to analyse is how much stock we've got coming in. So if we've got a huge drop of stock coming in, but the original stock isn't selling, we need to figure out what we're going to do with that, and those are the problems that we figure out usually on a Monday in trade. And if it was any other day that we're coming in, you'd still read your sales, but you would just read it for the day. So we're always looking at the day before. Even for the Monday, we're looking at the week before sales. We're constantly analysing what's happening. As a buyer and merchandiser, you need to know what the sales position is, and you also need to know what the stock position is. You need to know what's happening. So the next thing you would do is you would manage your intake. So intake is constantly coming in. The bigger your department, the more drops you've got. So when we plan a range, for example, if we've planned autumn-winter 2021 and it started arriving, we would have planned for it to arrive in what we call drops. We wouldn't arrange for a full collection to drop all in one go. So for stock flow, we would have things dropping every week, sometimes more than once a week. So you need to be managing your intake as the buying and merchandising department. So those factors would go into your trade analysis, because if you, for example, let's say the jeans that we put on promotion, let's say we can see they're doing really poorly, but then we've got a whole load of new jeans that are going to come in, and things like that. So we really do need to manage things like that. We can even hold off orders or push them forward and things like that. Just managing your intake is key as the buying and merchandising team. We also do strategy. So strategy for range building is constant, and that also comes off the back of sales. So you can really see how sales is the backbone of a lot of what we do, because when we're building the range for next season, we're only building that range according to how the current range has performed. So if the current season's jeans are really poor, we're going to minimise our orders for next range's jeans. Of course, we still need jeans, but we're going to figure out how to play it safe, keep the options small, and just things like that. And then also we do a lot of trend analysis. So in my last video I mentioned trend analysis being, you know, comp shopping, going out, checking out what's happening. We do that all the time. But another way of doing trend analysis is also through reading your sales, because trends show in your sales just as much as anything, and we need to pay attention to that. So we're constantly reading our sales on what's doing well and what's not. We even like drill right down. So for example, if we're looking at a category meaning tops, jeans, trousers, skirts. So say we're looking at a category like tops, we would drill all the way down to like long sleeve tops, short sleeve tops, printed tops, plain tops. We really want to get to the bottom of what exactly is it that the customer likes. So that will determine what we're going to build for the next season, because look at it in two parts. Like, we're constantly juggling two things. We're constantly analysing the performance of the current season while determining and planning and range building for the next. So for example, it's October right now, so we're currently analysing how autumn winter is performing. Autumn winter 20 has started dropping in stores, so we're looking at how that's going while planning autumn winter 2021, and things constantly come in and out of the range. That's why planning a range is just so unpredictable, because as much as we've got our stuff pinned up on a board right now and we know, okay, this is what we want to do for autumn winter 2021, next week our sales could read and it's like, do you know what, there's no point in buying that because it's just looking awful. So things pick up and go up and down, but it's just all in the game, and that's just what we do. And so some of the key achievements of the buying and merchandising team, so what we want day to day is we want to keep our stock levels high. So as much as I mentioned, like, yes, selling out is great, we ideally would want to find a way of restocking that and get into that, because obviously there's demand for it. So why leave the shelves empty if she really likes that? Let's see how quickly we can go back to the factory and remake it and get it back in the stores. So that's also another thing that we do. So that's just one way of like pushing ourselves even further. If like we've done really well with the style, why not make more money off of that, you know? So that's just something that we look into. We also manage supply base for future styles, so constantly in contact with our suppliers, with our factories. We want to keep good communication with them. For example, like I mentioned with the bestseller that sold out, we want to have a good communication with them so that if we need them on demand for a future style to restock, you know, they're good to go. They have our tech packs, they have our information, they can just remake it. But then there's also things like future styles. So we want to see if we want to repeat something, can we even get it a little cheaper? You know, there's always a way to constantly push ourselves and see how we can really like minimize cost, or like, we've done it before, let's do it again but better. We've done it before, let's do it again but cheaper. You know, so just constantly thinking of ways like that to work is all in the game of what we do day to day. Identifying bestsellers to restock, already mentioned that, and then getting through current stock efficiently. Yeah, we constantly need to figure out what we're going to do with dead stock. There's always going to be something that's not moving. And, you know, sometimes it's even just as simple as going down to the shop and rearranging the shop, because something can be not selling because it's sat next to something that's almost the same style but a little bit cheaper, or it just doesn't look good where it is in the shop, and that's why we're encouraged to go down to the shop, not only for comp shopping for other shops, but even just check out our own shop and just be like, okay, how can we rejig this, and talk to the visual merchandisers and be like, okay, can we rearrange the shop? You'd be surprised how literally small changes like that can change a whole week's worth of sales. So that's some of the stuff that we do. Yeah.